Good morning. This is Father Stephen Kelly from St. John's Church in Detroit. And we're continuing our series of daily morning meditations, where we generally look at one or another of the lessons that are assigned for morning or evening prayer, what is known as the daily off lectionary. Today for Saturday, let's continue our way through St. John's Gospel. We have been looking for the last 3 days at the story of the raising of Lazarus, and the last thing we heard yesterday was Jesus telling them to take the napkin off of his face and take the grave clothes off, to unloose him and to let him go. He is alive. Jesus has caused him to be risen from the dead, which is, of course, a precursor of our own general resurrection at the end of time. So the story picks up there, chapter 11, beginning at verse 45. Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Jesus did believed on him. But some of them went their way unto Pharisees and told them what things Jesus had done. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, What do we? For this man doeth many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. And one of them, named Caiaphas, being the high priest that same year, said unto them, Ye know nothing at all, nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not. And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus should die for that nation, and not for that nation only, but that he should gather together in one the children of God that were scattered abroad. Then from that day forward, they took counsel together for to put him to death. Jesus therefore walked no more openly among the Jews, but went thence into a country near to the wilderness, into a city called Ephraim, and there continued with his disciples. And the Jews' Passover was nigh at hand, and many went out for the country up to Jerusalem before the Passover to purify themselves. Then sought they for Jesus, and spake among themselves as they stood in the temple, What think ye, that he will not come to the feast? Now both the chief priests and the Pharisees had given a commandment, that if any man knew where he was, he should show it, that they might take him. Okay, so this is kind of the beginning of the end of the earthly ministry of Jesus. Here they are, the Pharisees have gathered together after this miracle. We hear lots of people believed on him, but others went running to the Pharisees and said, You're not going to believe what happened. And rather than them rejoicing that God could do such a miraculous thing through Jesus, and of course they don't really understand yet that he is in fact God himself, rather than that, they're like, what are we going to do? People are going to run after him. There's going to be a tumult. Next thing, the Romans are going to destroy our nation. They're more worried about who they are as a country than the fact that God is in fact doing something miraculous and wonderful. And as Caiaphas predicted, one man would die for the nation. Not die instead of the nation dying, but in fact Jesus Christ would die for the nation, not only for the people of the Jews, but for all mankind, all of humanity, because Jesus Christ will die to pay the price of their sins. But we hear that now they're looking for a chance to capture him and ultimately to put him to death. So we keep marching through John's Gospel. Today's Saturday. We don't have public worship here today at St. John's Church, but we're getting ready for worship tomorrow. The third Sunday in Lent, we'll start the service tomorrow with the Litany, which is always a great way to do our Lent, beginning of our Lenten worship. And then, of course, we have 7:30 morning prayer, 8 o'clock Holy Communion, 10 o'clock Holy Communion, and 5:30 evening prayer, with the opportunity to receive communion at that service as well. So I do hope that you will pick a service or two, right? You could do 7:30 and 8, or you could come to 8 or 10 and then come back for 5:30, right? That's very Anglican of you to do such a thing. But be sure you do at least one. And God willing, we'll see you tomorrow in church. May you have a Sunday that is full of blessings tomorrow. But today, may your Saturday be full as well.